Alright, I really don't have another video planned for today, so I'm gonna do this video just because I have nothing else planned, and there's really nothing going on that I really want to talk about besides this. And I've had my analog duo for a while, so I'm gonna talk about the very few games I have for it. And this one specifically is a Japan exclusive, and probably a game a lot of you guys never knew came out on a system like the TurboGrafx or PC Engine, and that is Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Let me get it in the shot here. Sorry for the glare here, but it's a very nice condition copy of it. And if you're not familiar with the PC Engine or the TurboGrafx, it's basically a I think it's technically a 16-bit system, but it's like an 8-bit processor. But yeah, you can see the back. Very cool artwork. I love this artwork for this. And I'm gonna just use some footage that I can find online for this. I don't feel like bringing all this stuff over here to film footage of this, but I do have the actual game and everything, which I'm gonna pull this out for you guys so you guys can see what cue cards look like, and then you guys will see gameplay. But here's what the games for the TurboGrafx look like. This is not a standard cue card size either. I think this is a little bit thicker because of it being like I think it's like a 16 meg card or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is. But suffice it to say, the TurboGrafx 16 version of Street Fighter 2 is actually really, really impressive for what it does. And what it actually can do, and how it sounds and looks. It looks pretty damn close to, I would say, the Sega Genesis version of the game, and it almost sounds very similar to it as well. But the fact that they were able to like pull this off was really impressive. Because I forgot this existed. I knew this existed, but I completely spaced on it until a local game store of mine around the area got this in, and that's where I got it. And luckily, I knew I was getting my analog duo soon, so I was like, oh, I'll try it out and see if it's any good. If it's not any good, I'll just take it back for store credit, because I've done that before in the past if I didn't like a game, but I was actually really impressed with this. The thing that impresses me the most about it is the sound and the graphics of it. Because like I said, the sound and graphics are very similar to the Sega Genesis, and I'll throw up some comparisons for you right now. So as you can see in here, it's very similar, and it plays very similar to the Genesis version because it's a three button. Well, okay, it's technically a 2-button setup because let me go grab my turbo controller real quick. Okay, so and by the way, this isn't a standard TurboGrafx controller, but this is the one I have because it's the 8-bit Do version. But here's basically what you got. You got your 1, your 2, and then your 1 and 2 turbo buttons, which on the original controller they had turbo switches on the top here, where you could switch how fast the turbo was. Then you got your select and then your run button. Now, the weird thing about Street Fighter, similar to Sega Genesis Street Fighter, was if you had a 3-button setup. I think the Genesis version was like this, but if you had a 3-button setup, you only had access to your punch, your 3 punches, and then you had to press the start button to switch to your 3 other kicks. And that's kind of how this works too. I'm pretty sure Street Fighter worked that way because I haven't played Street Fighter 2 Championship on Sega without a 6-button controller in a long time. So I really have no recollection of what it plays like. But this I can say for a surety it works the same way. So you have your like I said, your technically your 3 buttons. I believe the select button is your 3rd button. It goes like light punch, medium punch, and then heavy punch. I think is the run button, or the select button, and then the run button is to switch between your 3 kicks or your 3 punches, whatever you're on. Which I did try this out, and it does work. However, you really can't play a fighting game like Street Fighter with this kind of setup because you can't really do that good of combos. Not that Street Fighter 2 had like intricate combos, but you really can't do anything with like Hadouken combos or like Dragon Punch combos or anything like that because a lot of the ones that are decent start out with like heavy kick, like jumping heavy kick, down heavy punch, into like the Dragon Punch or the Hadouken. You can't do stuff like that. So there are 6-button controller options for the TurboGrafx, which if you get like a PC Engine Duo or something like that, or a PC Engine Duo R, they're kind of expensive. But the neat thing about the Analog Duo is you can sync up any other like wireless controller like the Switch or the Switch Super Nintendo controller, which I was using a lot to play Street Fighter. And it registers as a 6-button controller. So that's another reason why I recommend getting an Analog Duo if you want to play Turbo CD or Turbo. I was a Turbo Express. That's the handheld TurboGrafx. But TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine CD or Turbo CD games that support like 6-button options, because like I said, you kind of need that to properly play Street Fighter. Now Street Fighter is probably the only like notable game that really supports 6-button usage. I know there's a couple other fighting games that are like weird, but that support it. But Street Fighter is like the main game that comes to mind when you think of a game on Turbo or PC Engine that you actually kind of need a 6-button controller for. So, but overall, let's get back into the nitty gritty of this video here. Overall, this version of Street Fighter really gets overlooked by a lot of the other versions of it. Of course, the arcade version, the Sega Genesis version, the Super Nintendo Turbo version. I mean, there's so many different versions of this game, but this one gets overlooked, and I think it doesn't get enough love because it's actually a pretty impressive port of Street Fighter 2. And the ending animations and stuff aren't all in there, but it's still kind of impressive how they make them work. Like the looping walking animation for Ryu's ending, for instance. It's not like perfect looking like it looked in the arcade. Not that the arcade looked like great, but it looked better than this. But it's still fairly impressive for what they were able to do with this version of the game. But like all the sound voices were there, or are there, and I believe most of the animations are there. I think I'm not really a big animation like stickler, so I couldn't really tell you if it's actually missing some frames or something like that. It might be missing a couple frames, to be honest, but it's not really that noticeable to where you'll be like, oh, this version sucks. Because really, it's honestly a marvel that they were able to put like the actual voices, like the Hadokens, the Sonic Booms in there, on like little HuCard chip. Like that just really impresses me, and that's why I want to do a video about it because I don't think a lot of people know this game exists. And if you do, that's only because you're familiar with the PC Engine or the TurboGrafx. And when I got my Analog Duo, there's very few games I want to get for the Analog Duo or my Turbo graphics. And Street Fighter 2 wasn't even on my radar because like I said, I forgot it existed, but I'm glad I stumbled back across it because it's probably one of my favorite versions of the game because it's so damn impressive that it actually plays as well as it does. And yeah, if you guys have an Analog Duo or a TurboGrafx 16 or a PC Engine Duo laying around and you want a really fun version of Street Fighter, pick this version up. It's actually really fun. But one thing to note, if you do get a TurboGrafx 16, you will need some kind of special adapter to play Japanese HuCard or Turbo Chip games. I think is what they're called in the US. I think they're called Turbo Chips. But you'll need some kind of turbo adapter to play Japanese titles. I'm not sure what it's called, but I know they make them. I know they're out there. You'll just have to Google them. But yeah, this version is really cool, and I wanted to do a video on it a while back when I first got it, but I just didn't really get around to it. And I kind of want to get this video out to you guys sooner rather than later. So, like I said, little short impromptu video, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thank you, patrons, for supporting the channel. Shout out to go to Matt Y99, Reaper 7734, Title Cal, AJ Goddard, Oliver Frederick, Zool Adby, It's Me, Charlize, Joe, William Swift, Griff 17, Charlie McKeon, Reverse Security, Zoo Hall, Artistic Tomahawk, Pre-Liam, Jess Drew, Ari Mansane, HHG Fan, Elliot Scott, Benjamin Tellen, Mac Levisaro, Freddie Ladd, and Vic Gomez. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to support me, it's only $1 a month. It really helps out the channel a lot. And I'll probably be doing more of these videos about the Turbo when I get more games for it. Because there are a couple more games I want to do videos on talking about, but I don't have them yet. So I don't want to do videos on them yet. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. And go check this out. Peace.